So good afternoon, everyone. My name's Tony Coombs. I'm a system engineer with Nuvola Distribution. And today, this is our third of a series of the art and science of application-aware network performance management. And in today's session, we're going to be talking about flow to packet analysis. So this is a really interesting subject. It's all about integrating the live capture devices into LiveNX to show you some of the interesting workflows that you can use to do an in-depth analysis, starting at a very high global level, all the way down to packet captures to debug your network or to provide analysis of what's happening on your network. So before I start, I'm just going to hand over to Peter at LiveAction, because he just wanted to give a quick update on his Live Boost program. So over to you, Peter.
Tony, thank you. Good afternoon to everybody. I just wanted to kick off with making you guys aware that as LiveAction, we really value your support as a partner. And in doing so, we've created a little promotion for before the end of the year, whereby you could get yourselves a free LiveWire Edge. So this is one of those marvelous little packet capture engines with packet to flow capability on it. I'm sure Tony can expound a little bit more on that. You can get a free one of these for your organization just by registering 5 leads with us. And what does that mean? Are you thinking of engaging with a number of customers at some point next year? Have you got customers who are going through digital transformation, looking for ways and means to baseline and audit the network? Are they looking for a tool or some capabilities to help them in migration, etc., etc.? So have a think of who you're engaged with and potential customers, and if you register 5 of them, we can have the meetings next year and engage, but it's just getting that sort of visibility of the art of what's possible. You can get yourself a LiveWire Edge. There's some great examples here of why you would want to get yourself one of them. But yeah, have a look at that. And next slide, Tony, and then I'll wrap up and pass back to you. So, just to summarize, get yourself a LiveWire Edge, plus some SE training on it as well. And that's just for giving us and putting through 5 potential customer leads. Again, need to be qualified next year. Really good offer. These things are worth about $10K each, and a great little box. So yeah, Tony, thanks very much for that. And again, partners, thank you very much for attending and for supporting. So over to you, and let's see what wonderful magic we've got today.
Okay, thank you, Peter. So yes, I mean it's a fabulous promotion there actually, and hopefully you'll see in this session today the power of the LiveWire engines. They're great tools for, especially if you're doing consulting projects for your customers, or you're about to offer an upgrade to a customer's network and you need to do some baselining. These are fabulous products to introduce into a network, just to get some baseline data to enable you to optimize any sort of network upgrade that you're planning. And I'll show you some of that actually, of course, in this session. So before we go into the usual demonstration that we offer, let me just recap on what a LiveWire is. So there's currently today there's four products in the family, starting at the virtual product. I'll be showing you that actually in this demonstration today. The LiveWire Virtual can be deployed in all sorts of virtualized environments, KVM, AWS, up in the cloud, those types of environments. And it is a great tool for actually looking at the east-west traffic, particularly that flows between virtual machines in a virtualized environment, because normally the east-west traffic is normally hidden from, you know, the regular network because of the way the virtualized architecture is set up, you know, because the data flow is over virtual switches within that environment. And then, of course, we've got the physical appliances, starting with the LiveWire Edge. This is the product that Peter just mentioned about where you can actually get one of those for free. Great product for POCs, for deploying in customer edge environments such as, you know, a branch office, for example. And then all the way up to the LiveWire Core and the Power Core. The Power Core can scale up to 100 gigabits per second capacity in terms of physical interfaces. So it's a fabulous product for, of course, the core of a data center. And regardless of what product you have there, you know, what product you deploy there, they all have the same capabilities. They all do packet capture, as you would expect. They can all be managed using OmniPeak for that deep packet analysis. They now all come with OmniPeak virtual integrated, you know, on the appliance. And the key thing here now is that they can export IP-fix NetFlow records from a packet capture to LiveNX. So this provides that integration path between, you know, between a LiveNX solution, which is designed to do, you know, flow analysis, plus now providing this flow to packet workflow capability, which allows you to drill down from a global view all the way down into packet captures to perform in-depth analysis as and when needed. I thought before we actually go into a demo, I'll just show you a couple of deployment scenarios. So here's a typical example where you could use a LiveWire Edge today. So in this diagram here, we've got a, you know, typical corporate network. Okay, the corporate network's got a WAN router or firewall which connects to the WAN and the internet. And then what you can do with a LiveWire Edge product, you can put it in line between the edge switch and the WAN router stroke firewall. So this product is actually physically in line, okay, and the connections are over a bridged interface. So what does that mean? Well, first of all, it's transparent to the data flow, so it's not participating in any IP forwarding, IP routing, or anything like that. It's completely transparent. There's no IP address provisioned on these ports. And secondly, this operates in a fail-safe mode as well. So if, for example, someone pulls the plug on the LiveWire Edge, ports 4 and 5 would automatically connect and heal, and so ensuring that you still have that connectivity from your corporate network into the WAN router. And so this is a typical deployment scenario where you may use a LiveWire Edge, where you may use a LiveWire Edge to, you know, within a branch environment where you want to provide that packet capture and flow analysis. And as you can see here, you know, what we're showing you here is once it's configured and up and running, it can export NetFlow records to LiveNX for management and analysis. Just one point, whenever you deploy it in this environment, and you'll see this in the configuration that I'll show you in a little while, always take a record of the router MAC address. That's an important part because we need that for determining the direction of flows, and I'll show you why in a few minutes. So that's one example where you could use a LiveWire Edge on its bridge interfaces to connect to a WAN connection on a branch network, for example. Of course, there are other methods as well. A more traditional method may be that you use an Ethernet tap, or you're using a span port from a router, and you're copying packets directly to the LiveWire, and then the LiveWire is then simply set up. So this is the other method which you could use for deploying the system. So the solution is flexible in terms of how it can be deployed in a customer's network. This is what we would call out-of-band mode. Okay. Now, once you've deployed a LiveWire solution, it's extremely simple to set up. There's only a few steps you have to go through. Obviously, you have to first of all go through the physical installation that I just described to you. That shouldn't take too long. Once you've done that, you then connect to the management port on the LiveWire, and you provision the MAC address of the WAN router firewall. This is important, as I said earlier on, because this defines or tells a LiveWire the direction of the flows. Now, if you think of it for a moment, you know, this is a packet capture and analysis tool. It's not a router or switch which is participating in IP routing and can actually determine the direction of the flows. Because this is a passive device and doesn't have any IP addresses on its physical capture ports, you need to have this MAC address. So that's an important part that you need to understand and provision to set up the system. Now, once you've connected to the LiveWire, the next thing to do is really just to enable a live flow capture, and that's a very simple process. You just put in the IP address of the server, the LiveNX server, and then that's it. And then the LiveWire is now set up. Finally, you just have to discover live flow in a LiveNX through SNMP. Normal discovery process that most management systems have, and that will learn the live flow, learn what it is, learn what its capabilities are, and learn what physical interfaces are provisioned or set up on that interface. And that's it. Once you've done that, you can then start viewing flow to packet workflows in LiveNX. So let's go into demo. So what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to show you the basic process of setting up a LiveWire. So I'm going to go to the peak, the OmniPeak interface on a LiveWire. Okay, this is, you know, you just connect to using any browser, you just go to the IP address. Okay, and then once you connect, you'll see OmniPeak web, which is running on that device. This is what I showed you at the previous session, so that you should be familiar with this screen. Once you've connected, you then need to set up a capture. And if I go to the capture part, what you'll see now is there's the normal new capture button here, where you can set up captures that we've learned before and used before. Or there's now on a LiveWire new live flow captured. It's grayed out because I've already set this up. Okay. If I go to this LiveNX capture that's already running and click on it, what you'll see is here the normal capture parameters defining the physical interface, etc. This is no different. But down here, this is where you set up the live flow export. And basically, all you do, as I mentioned earlier on, put in the IP address of the LiveNX server, leave all these values here, default. These are all NetFlow default settings, so you don't normally need to change any of this. Here you have an option to enable NetFlow records that are enabled. Now you'll see here that there's, in the middle here, you've got basic flow. This is normal NetFlow. This is normal NetFlow version 9 or version 10, which is, you know, now called IPFix. Okay, this is what most devices, NetFlow devices, only export. Okay, and it's good. It provides a lot of information about, you know, the flows going through a network, source, destination IP addresses, protocols, packet counts, diffserv code points, that type of data. But what it doesn't show you in a normal basic NetFlow are advanced capabilities such as AVC and MediaNet, which is standards which are defined by Cisco, okay, and which Cisco routers and switches normally support. And this includes things like application performance and voice video performance. And I'll show you the difference between this in a few seconds. But this is where it really starts to show the value of the LiveWire platform in terms of providing that network analytics that customers need to understand what's happening on their network. So I've got most of these ticked. I haven't got MPLS VXLAN ticked because I don't have that on my network today. Okay, so that's disabled. Now, do you remember I mentioned we need to know the MAC address of the router? So here you see I've already provisioned this. If I edit it, you can see you just give it a name. And this creates a virtual interface actually on the LiveWire called, in this case, router 1. And then here is the MAC address. And you can get this from, you know, doing show IP ARP, for example, on any device which is attached to the router to get that MAC address. So once you've done that, the only other thing to take note of is the SNMP settings. So by default, or not by default, the LiveWires are all pre-provisioned with SNMP version 3, and here's all the authentication and privacy passwords, which are already pre-provisioned. Okay, you need this for the discovery process in LiveNX. So you will then just go OK, and off it goes. And then you should start seeing like a normal capture starting here. So at this point, this is just like a normal capture. Okay, so we're capturing off of that defined interface. We are analyzing the packets. We are storing the packets to disk, but at the same time now, we're exporting NetFlow records into a LiveNX server for flow analysis. Okay, you can still use this for doing forensic searches. It just operates just like a normal packet capture on a LiveWire device. Now, the second step, we'll go over here. We don't need to look at this. This is just a console on a LiveWire to look at the utilization, etc., of, you know, the CPU, etc. But if we go to LiveNX, the next step is to configure that box in LiveNX, discover the box, discover its interfaces, and add it to the site that you've already got pre-provisioned for LiveNX. So you would go down to configure, you'd go down to device management, you would go over here to discover device, you put the IP address in. I'm just doing a dummy one. The IP address of the capture engine, the LiveWire. You choose a site that it's associated with, This is my home site. Save and X, and then you either use some pre-configured SNMP settings that have already been saved, or you can provision, the SNMP settings here. And then you'd go over discover. And then what would happen is a discovery process would happen after maybe 20 seconds or so. The device would be discovered. Okay, you accept that into the database. You select which interfaces you want to add into the database, and then it's now imported into the network. And this is what you would see basically. You would go, here's my virtual, for example. The device, you add it to a group. If you've got management groups within LiveNX, you can create different groups. You can add it to there. The important thing is you click on poll, which is SNMP polling, to poll the device and the interfaces, and you enable flow. Okay, and then you should see this tag here, LiveWire. Okay, this should be automatically added, and this tells LiveNX that this is actually a packet capture device, and so you can do the flow to packet analysis. So with that, then what I would normally do is I would normally go to the Java console for LiveNX. This is the Java console. I've got two live wires in the network. I have a virtual and I have an edge. And you can see that for each of these devices, this is a confirmation now that you're getting flow records. At the moment, I'm showing you basic flows. Okay, and this is what I mean about a basic net flow record. So you've got source, destination IP addresses, you've got source, destination port numbers, application ID, some bit rates, packet rates, etc. And then some cross and some other, data such as some timing, etc. That's great for providing some basic information, but it's not giving you the in-depth analysis that AVC or MediaNet offers, which a LiveWire can provide. So if I go up here, and I can show you the difference. If I go to AVC, for example, and I go on Edge, because I know there's more data coming off that one. Here you can see an example of AVC type records. So you've got very similar data here now, but now you've got application, network, client delay, server delay. So you're now determining the delay of a connection over the network. So you can now start to distinguish between, when there are problems, is it a network delay issue or is it an application delay issue? You've still got your class of service, and then you've got more stuff here, more information about latency and so on. And all of this information is used by LiveNX to provide that advanced application analysis that LiveNX can offer over and above the standard net flow records that most devices offer. Just to show you, I've got a firewall here, for example. No AVC records. All it offers is basic flow. There you go, just basic flow. Right. Nothing about application delay, network delay, or anything like that. Go back to here. Go to application flow. No, let's stay on basic flow. And then let's look at, this is a sort of normal analysis that you can do with the Java clients. You can go in and you can drill down and you can do things like IP application reports. Okay, so this is really the old way in which we would have used LiveNX to do analysis. There's still some very powerful capabilities in the Java client, but the preference, of course, nowadays is to go to the web clients. So once I'm now back in the web clients, once the device has been added, okay, if I go up to here and I go to main and I go to sites and I go to my site, my home network, what you should start seeing is, for example, WAN applications starting to arrive after about 15 minutes. You know, once the flow records have been exported, it takes a little while for them to come over, and then of course to be processed. Okay, so we've got, you know, the normal analysis here. We've got flows going across the network. We've got you know, inbound, outbound data. We've got our cross data down here. All the things that we've shown before in these sessions. And of course, you can click on WAN applications, and you can now start to see things like application delay. So we're now starting to determine, because of the AVC, because of the AVC MediaNet capabilities on a live flow, we can now see advanced delay calculations being picked up by LiveNX and then displayed in the consoles and in the reports as well. So here it's showing you that GoToMeetings, funny enough, this is what we're using. I'm actually capturing our live session right now. There seems to be a little bit of delay, application delay. So that's interesting. Hopefully it's not impacting us too much. Now, of course, this is the network. We've got, this is my home network. I've got two live wires. I've got one virtual here, okay, and I've got one LiveWire edge here. This guy's got lots of alerts. Notice that we've got a peak button now. So not only do we have the flow records, you'll find whenever you click on any sort of record which is associated with NetFlow data that's come from a live wire, you'll see places where you can click on peak and you can do a packet forensic search. So here you go, click on that, and I'm now going to put a name in here, forensic search. I'm going to, default time period is 15 minutes based on the previous window, what the time window was for that window. There's no search screens here because I'm just doing a generic forensic search. I'm just capturing, I'm going to look at all the packets between that 15-minute window, and then I can just click on that. We're now going to do a forensic search. Okay, and then we can click on that and we can see network performance. These are all the good standard OmniPeak capabilities that I showed you previously. Compass, they're all there. Here's the packets. You know, I can click on any of these. I can do a packet analysis here. I've got my peer map. I just wanted to show you this. This is the new peer map that's now available on OmniPeak web, and it shows you different flows. I can search on different IP addresses. I can zoom in, for example. Let's find the address 51. 192.168.3.51. Do a search, and then you can search. You can see the peer relationships for that IP address. Here's something I really like. Change it to country. That device is talking to devices in Germany, in the UK, in France, and in Australia. Now, I'm not surprised about France. I'm not surprised about UK. I have no idea why this device is connecting to Germany or Australia, but I could, from this point, go down and start doing a forensic analysis on that if I wanted to. You know, I could click on this and go down deeper if I wanted to. Okay, so that's showing you a very quick way of going from LiveNX into the OmniPeak web capabilities. But let me show you a use case. So we've got, for example, here we've got SSL. Let's click on that. I'm back in LiveNX. As soon as I click on that, I can see, you know, the conversations for SSL. Okay. I can, if I go to one of these, like this one here, look at active alerts, I can see all the alerts associated with that live wire. So let me pick on one. It doesn't really matter. They're all showing typical errors, delay errors. Let me click on that one. As soon as I click on that, I can do a flow analysis. Now, this would normally in a larger network, this would show a hop by hop analysis of that flow across the network. But because this is just being picked up by LiveWire Edge, it's come from my home network, it's gone on to the internet, we're only seeing one analysis, okay? So we're only seeing one hop, but normally you would see multiple hops for that. But here's an interesting thing. Here's another example where you can do, you can go into peak, you can go from flow to packet. So we chose a particular application, it was SSL. If I click on this now, let's call this SSL analysis. Let's change the timeline a little bit. Let's go a little bit longer, so an hour. Now we've got it pre-populated with a filter, which is just looking for SSL. It's been set up in this case just for one direction. I'm going to change it for both directions. So it's just doing egress at the moment. I want egress and ingress. Let's do that analysis. It's down here. So there we go, 159 packets over a 1 hour period duration. Let's look at that. And that now we're only going to see SSL, HTTP. Okay, so that's how you would, do a more specific flow to packet analysis. Okay, and of course the peer map down here should only show now those two devices. There you go. Okay, so once it's integrated, you can see very quickly how easy it is to start picking up NetFlow records, including AVC data from a live wire. You can see how easy it is to do flow to packet analysis. I'm not planning today to go into a full demonstration of LiveNX. We can do that separately on other sessions. Today was all about just showing you the integration aspect and to show you how you could connect a live wire in, for example, like a POC environment to do, flow to packet analysis. And then how you can, for example, generate some basic records, you know, flow path analysis, for example. Here's another example. I've shown this before on some of my demonstrations. See again here, these are all the different flows running over the network. See, for example, here you've got an option to do a peak again, or you can do a flow path analysis. I'll click on that. This is on a different system. This may show a longer flow path, hopefully. I'm on a demo network now in the USA, so it takes a few seconds. There you go. So this is just to show you that example where you've now got multiple hops, okay? And because it's a flow path analysis, we could then go down and do a peak analysis if we wanted to look at you know, the packets in more details. And of course you can do the reports as well. Here's a report I generated earlier on. This is using AVC records for voice video analysis using a LiveWire data that's captured from a LiveWire that's deployed in your network. So that's pretty much it I wanted to show you today. I know it's a short session. If you wanted a more in-depth demonstration, maybe a one-to-one session or a session with your customers, please let us know. We're keen to offer these demonstrations and hopefully show the value add of the LiveAction solutions. We will also be doing more sessions in the new year as part of this theme. One of the ones I'm already thinking of is showing you SD-WAN analysis and how that can be used on LiveNX to really analyze the packet flows over SD-WAN environment. But if you have any ideas, of course, of what you want to see in these sessions, please let us know. Don't forget also, if you want to test any of this, okay, you can download LiveNX for free from the website. You can download OmniPeak also for free from the website. And of course, don't forget the program. You know, if you really want to, you know, test this, use this in a live customer environment, get us 5 leads. They don't have to close anytime soon, as Peter said. We just want to get some data on potential opportunities in the future. And if you provide us with 5 leads, then we will give you for free a LiveWire Edge. And that includes, don't forget, a copy, a perpetual license for OmniPeak. Okay, so with that, I'd like to say thank you very much. Thank you for attending today, and